Abhishek, I just recently came to know that you have written a book called Beneath the Sandstone. What was your inspiration? Like, how did it start? And I see that it has a mixture of history and a lot of other things.
For example, if you take a bacteria, I don't know how a bacteria performs. Now, think this as a hypothesis, what I'm telling. So, the bacteria's sole purpose was to survive, one, that's why it mutate. Second, it has to do its duty, irrespective of geography. For example, the bacteria has to degrade the organics. And degrade the organics means that is also a food for the bacteria. So they're still doing it. So right now imagine there is a bacteria called Nitrosomonas which is helpful in nitrogen mineralization in the soil substrata, which will convert organic nitrogen to inorganic nitrogen. Only the inorganic nitrogen is the food source for the plant. What if the bacteria mutates and say, I'm sorry, I cannot do nitrogen fixation? What happens? The plants will die. So who are actually running the nature? It is a bacteria. I mean, it is a microbes. It can be a bacteria, fungal, or a virus. If a microbes say that, okay, I cannot do the nitrogen mineralization, leave. I mean, to hell with it. Anyhow, we can survive even with the absence of oxygen, like anaerobes. I got a facultative. There are three set of microbes. Aerobic, in the presence of oxygen they survive. Anaerobic, in the absence of oxygen. Facultative, they are surviving in presence of oxygen as well as in the absence of oxygen. So what if they say, the soil microbes, that we are not helping the plant to grow? The plant will collapse. So we always say that plants run the nature. No, it's the single cellular species that runs the nature. But we are not giving credit to them. So there I started writing, thinking what a bacteria will think. The bacteria of current generation will think, seeing the anthropological activities of humans which are doing all the catastrophical things or unconventional things to kill them. Humans are not trying to kill them, it's by their actions. Humans doesn't want to kill bacteria, it's by their actions. And all these things are happening, it's because of one thing called comfort. In the actual book, the main two aspects which were discussed are pollution and comfort. Pollution is explained precisely. Comfort is not explained in the book, but you can get that in every sentence of the book. So I like history. So I grew up in land of Chalukyas, that is Vatapi, earlier now Badami. So Guled Gudda is just like around 20 kilometers from Badami. And I was a research scholar in IIT Madras, which was a Pallava. So there I came up with a story of bacteria, as well how bacteria who are narrating their grandfather's story. Okay, these bacteria are in the present time. They are narrating about a story which was set in 7th century. How it has impacted their chronology.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are two set of stories. The stories between Chalukya and Pallava, and the stories between bacterias, and how they are interconnected with each other. The relation between a bacteria and a kingdom, how a kingdom suffers from their cognition, and how bacteria suffers from kingdom's cognition, and how bacteria tries to safeguard the kingdom as well as themselves. So it is about that. I cannot go in detail with the technical elements, it has multiple layers, as it's a non-linear story. It's not a linear path. There's not like 3 points. You have to merge the 3 points and find out a story from this book.
Okay, thank you so much for gifting. Let people find it out by buying it.
This is even I could not explain in detail about the book because it has so many different layers. So I try to sum it up with in a generic way, but the main agenda is comfort, which is nothing but you can say desire. which is again cognition. That is consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So these four are the main elements of that book.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is.
Great. Thank
Thanks,
you for
man.
your
Yeah.
introduction about the book.